Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the first and hopefully not the last episode of Podcast Reload. It's the general gaming podcast by Sifted.net subscribers, where we invite community guests onto the show to talk about the games industry in all its many flavors. I am your host, Vin Hill, along with my co-host and fellow Japan dweller, Evan Piotrowski, if I haven't butchered his name.
Hello, this is Evan Piotrowski, aka the Stand User.
Okay, and joining us as well is, of course, our community guest from Sifted.net, Thomas Thorsson.
Hey there. I use the same username on Sifted as my real name, so...
Yeah, we were quite clever about that, right? Like, Evan, not so much.
I totally ruined it. No, Pactor got it right when he said, what kind of username is that? And I think most people agreed, including myself.
It's all good.
Housekeeping. I'll come back later.
All right, let's start out with a bit of housekeeping. So as this is the first episode, we haven't really got much sort of corrections or any community questions or anything like that. So just a bit of sort of notice. This is our first episode, so we're looking for any feedback that we can get from any of the community. So if you guys have got any suggestions, if you got anything that you really like about the show, then, you know, just feel free, like, comment on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this, and we'll take it all, like, because we're trying to learn as much as we can. So yeah, all the feedback is the better.
I just wanted to, I don't know if we need to preface this episode with the fact that, you know, we're just a bunch of video game fans on a really cool and new website.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat.
One. Right. So
I mean, we're not professional podcasters or anything, but, you know, we're gamers. We're a part of the Sifted community, and we really wanted to just have a voice for the website. I think that's the most important thing, right?
I think we're all just gamers. We have different backgrounds. We play different games, and I think that'll make for a really good mix-up and an interesting discussion, because we'll all have different angles on each topic, probably.
Yeah, definitely. I think we should actually take a moment to explain what Sifted is, because I think this is going to go across a few different platforms, like not just YouTube. It's probably going to go on SoundCloud and a couple of others as well. So we should probably talk about what is Sifted.net. So Sifted.net is a curation website. It's set up by a guy called Shane Satterfield, who you probably should know. He was the editor-in-chief at Game Trailers a few years ago before he left. A lot of us have heard about the sad demise of Game Trailers over the last week, and it's sad news, but there is a new community that is rising through the ranks, sort of thing, which is Sifted.net. So everyone should definitely check it out. It basically just takes content from all of the websites, so it's much like Facebook in a way. You know, you share media, and it sort of sifts through your sort of flavors. So you go into the website and you say, okay, I really like first-person shooters, and I really like platformers, I really like Nintendo, and it will filter out all of the news sites, so you can actually just look at the stuff that you want to see. And the good thing about that as well is, on all the comments and everyone that's within the Sifted.net community, everyone that's talking on them certain articles, you know, they're probably people that you want to be hanging out with. So there's very few sort of discrepancies within the actual website. Like there's very little arguments, you know, there's no trolls whatsoever, because the best thing about the site is the fact that it is a subscription site, and it's not a high subscription, you know, it's not very expensive. I think it's like from $10 to $30 a year. Was that right, guys?
Yeah. And it's just a very friendly site. I moderate the site, and there have been very few instances where I've had to warn someone. I mean, there's been like one guy since the site started. So it's just a very friendly community, and people respect each other's opinions. So that's very good. Yeah,
you've been on the site for probably the past 10 months, right? You started at the same time as me.
Yeah, since the beta period.
How about you, Evan? Sorry, like, how long have you been on the site?
Man, I don't exactly remember. I want to say that I was in at the end of the beta, but I might have signed up right after the beta ended. I was listening to Game Face, or watching Game Face on YouTube leading up to the site's launch.
Okay.
So I followed it then, and I think just a bit later I thought, well, I love Game Face so much, I'm in. Even on the Sifted YouTube page, it says ad-free, junk-free, and punk-free. And I mean, how far in are we? Did you say 10 months?
Yeah, 10 months. I think it was a couple of months before E3 2015.
Yeah, and even 10 months in, that last Punk free, I think that's true. I mean, we don't see the internet on Sifted.
Right. Yeah,
right?
so there's no trolls, there's nothing like that. There's no sort of I mean, people can be negative if they've got like opinions and stuff, but it's never directed outside of the sort of discussion of video games, it's just people very passionate about what they love. And I think that's the great thing. I mean, everyone debates on Sifted. I mean, there isn't any, like, it's not all happy fun time. Don't get me wrong. It's not like everyone's oh yeah, I agree every day. But, when people do have disagreements, it's never like in sort of, your mother sort of way, It's like, it never gets personal. Like, no one ever turns nasty in that respect. Everyone's really nice. It's a really, really great community.
Right. And I think, a lot of times I am very negative, but all the conversations surrounding criticism, I think for the most part, are very healthy conversations.
Right. But yeah, I think so too. I mean, the amount of times I've had conversations with people where I've had an opinion and they've sort of swayed me the different way. I mean, that's very rare. I find that on other websites. I mean, if you go and look at Kotaku or something, it's just you get blocked out with your opinion with a meme or something, I never get that feeling on Sifted. People are really nice and welcoming. And yeah, it's just a really great website. And I definitely think everyone should sort of go and check it out. I mean, there's a trial going up. So I think it's maybe a 2-week trial. I can't remember.
Yeah,
do you guys know?
2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's 14 days, I think, something like that, where you can just go onto the site, check it out, go and check out the community, check out the forums. Really, really great guys. I mean, with the trial, you get a full premium subscription for them 2 weeks. So yeah, definitely check it out. That paywall definitely keeps the trolls out because no one's going to pay to come into a community to be a troll. So it's awesome.
It is very awesome.
Cool. Okay, so moving on. We'll move on to our first guest ever, which is you, Thomas.
Yep.
So as our guest, we've got a couple of questions for you, which we will be asking all of our guests and any listeners so we can sort of gauge like what sort of gamer you are. Because, they'll have me and Evan every single week, so they'll naturally sort of get used to us. But as we've only got you for an hour, we thought, we'd sort of break you into the listeners. Okay, so the first question is, what is your number one platform of choice?
Well, I do have a number of platforms, but I guess PC is the closest to heart for me. It's always been my favorite platform, I guess, and that's just where I spend most of my time gaming, like 85-90% is on the PC.
I think the real question is, as a PC gamer, what graphics card and what specs have you got? That's the real question, right?
Yeah. I have got a 3077K clocked at 4.5, and I have a GTX 780 from EVGA. Got 8 gigs of RAM. Yeah, just an SSD, an HDD, a fractal design case. I like the sleek designs. Yeah, that's and a three monitor setup. Yeah.
I wish I knew even what half of that meant.
Wait, I'm a bit confused. We didn't rehearse this, and yet from the bat, he was able to roll all of that off from the top of his head.
That's pretty impressive.
That is really impressive.
Yeah, man, I've got people ask me hey, what sort of gamer are you then? And I'm like, I've got a PS4. That's it. That's my specs rolled off, done. There's no. How about you though, Evan? So people have sort of preface. What gaming platform do you have? Your number one.
Sure. Well, people might wonder why I'm even on this podcast. After I say this, my console of choice is the PS3. I can't say it with this, without laughing a bit. I do have a Wii U, and I haven't bought a PS4 yet. Shame on me. I know it's coming.
Oh, that's cool, man.
But
no, I mean, well, I think that speaks for something. There's a lot of gamers out there that don't have the current gen consoles yet. They're still waiting because the back library of the current gen console still, as I think Shane said it on Game Face today. Actually, he said that. He doesn't really feel that the library is up to scratch yet, to the point that where we're at, 2 years into the console cycle, and we're still not, we haven't got as many titles as we probably should have. So, I think that speaks for a lot of gamers out there that haven't, actually invested into the new generation yet.
Yeah, that's probably true. And also, I'm waiting for actually, someone brought this up in terms of if they're going to bring out a PS4 Slim this E3. I don't think it's going to happen, but there's something in the back of my brain saying, just wait for the Slim to come out.
Right.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be nice. There's going to be a terabyte hard drive in there. And that might be one more thing that's holding me from getting a PS4. But it will happen if they don't announce that PS4 Slim this year, or at E3 at least. I'll just if they don't announce it at E3, I will be buying it in the summer. That is certainty.
Yeah, I think like even if they don't bring out a slim version next E3, I definitely think it's probably due for a price drop at that point or something, right?
It very well could be. I mean, well, when the price drop became active in Japan, at least in Japan, I'm not sure in the States, the amount of PS4s that they sold increased significantly.
Yeah, I probably should say, like, me and Evan actually both live in Japan right now. We actually live about half an hour away from each other. We've never met, but we actually live pretty close.
Yeah.
Just so people don't get confused when we're starting to talk about Japanese things or whatever.
Yeah, I apologize in advance.
Oh, it's all good. Okay, moving on. Back to Thomas as our guest. Sorry, man. We keep moving away from you. Okay, the next question is, what is your favorite game of all time?
My favorite game of all time is actually not a PC game, surprisingly enough. It's I've always been a fan of the Metal Gear franchise.
Okay.
So my top pick would probably be Metal Gear Solid 4.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, if I just think of the if I think back to like 2008 and the reaction I had when I played that, I was orgasming constantly, pretty much.
Yeah.
I know it's pretty. I know it's pretty silly game, and it has a pretty silly story, but it's. Yeah. I don't know. There's just something so engaging about that universe and about that, and about the characters that Mr. Kojima has come up with, and I don't know. And I think I think Metal Gear 4, Solid 4 was just a great end to Snake's story. I think so. That's I did not care for Metal Gear Solid 5 at all. I did not like that.
Oh, really?
Gameplay wise, it was fantastic in terms of gameplay mechanics, but the story was just so underwhelming. It was an unfinished product in that sense. So I did not enjoy Metal Gear 5.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think because it got so much sort of critical acclaim last year, a lot of people enjoyed it. But it was very different to Metal Gear Solid 4. I always argue that. In
terms of gameplay, it's fantastic, but I need context as to why I'm doing stuff. Why am I infiltrating this base, or why am I doing this? And I just feel like the game did not provide that for me. So what I did not have a purpose, and it was hard for me to keep on going, and I had to fight my way through that game.
No, I see what you mean.
But you did finish it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually going to pick it up last weekend, and I went, and the PS3 version was like 6,000 yen. Let's just say that's what, $55, and then the PlayStation 4 version was like under $40.
Considering as well, because I think the adoption rate of the PlayStation 4 in Japan is still pretty low.
Oh yeah.
So considering definitely. That's really interesting. I didn't know that. But I guess being one of Kojima's games, I guess that was probably one of the biggest sort of games to hit Japan for a while. I mean, all the Japanese gamers that I've spoken to, they're either they were waiting for either Metal Gear Solid 5 or they were waiting for Final Fantasy 15.
There was something on Sifted recently. It said that the best selling game on the PS4 in Japan currently is Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So now that we've sort of initialized our guest, we should probably move on to our next section. And to introduce it, we're basically taking a leaf out of sort of Shane and Matt's book in the respect where they do the big six, and we are going into the small three. So in the small three, we each basically choose a topic to talk about within the games industry. So this can be anything to do with news. It can be a new story. It can be general discussion. We can talk about a game we've played, a game that we're excited about, etc., etc. So, to start out, I think we should definitely have our guest, sort of kick us off. So let's talk about his topic. What was your topic this week, Thomas?
Yeah, my topic, I came up with it a few days ago. It's about Quantum Break and the PC release and kind of the Microsoft strategy behind that. Then I actually watched Game Face last night, the archive show, and I was like, shit, they brought it up. But I think
you mean on Game Face?
Yeah, I still think we have a few different angles to.
Just so listeners know, on last night's episode of Game Face, which is the Sifted.net sort of show that they've got going, that Shane and Matt run, they brought up the exact same topic which we're about to talk about. But I think we have a few different sort of theories behind what they said as well. So we've got quite a lot to add to it. Last week, Microsoft announced that Quantum Break is going to basically be a cross-buy. One of the first games to hit the cross-buy sort of initiative, which Phil Spencer announced last year. GDC, I think he announced it in 2015.
Probably.
Yeah, he first announced it back then. And it was basically a massive initiative when Windows 10 first got announced to say that, hey, we're going to be doing a lot of cross-buy stuff. And this is the actual first game that's been announced. And I think a lot of video gamers are sort of angry about this, angry that this was promised to be an Xbox One sort of exclusive, and then it changed to be PC as well, and it's going to come out on the same date. And that's the sort of line. But as you said, Thomas, I think a lot of people are sort of worried that Microsoft is sort of steering away from the Xbox.
Yeah. So what I kind of wanted to go through were obviously like, why do you think they're doing this? Is this a good idea? Do you think we'll see other games like Gears of War coming out? And it seems like they will. How do you feel about this personally? But we'll start with, I guess, Quantum Break. And I think that the reason that Microsoft is doing this is they're laying the groundwork for the future, basically. Because if you look at the PC market, Microsoft is not perhaps very strong. They don't have a good distribution platform. And I think gradually we'll have traditional consoles for another cycle or two, but eventually you'll see maybe streamed games kind of like on live or something like that. And I think Microsoft does not have a good distribution platform. So I think they're launching these titles to kind of get people to check out the Windows 10 store, and eventually I think they'll kind of expand that and they'll create a big Microsoft platform, because they're pretty aggressive about like the whole upgrade to Windows from Windows 7 or Windows 8 to Windows 10, and I think they just want to unify the player base and eventually turn the Xbox players, console players, and PC market into one. So I think this is just kind of a way to establish the Windows Store / Xbox Live brand on as a unified platform instead of just two separate things. Because up until this point, Xbox has been a console thing, and Windows has been a PC thing, but I think they want to bring them together, and I think this is a way of doing it. I don't know what you guys think, but
there is some truth in that. I honestly, myself included, I think personally that they are probably starting to look at other sort of markets, because they know as well that within a few years the console wars are probably going to die down. It's like as Pacta has predicted, it's a lot of stuff is going to be on the cloud. It's going to be a lot of streaming services. There's going to be a lot of sort of technology sort of packed into our TVs, which will, outdo our consoles. It won't. All these games might even pass over to mobile and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, what's your sort of take on it?
But I think that even if this happens in 10 years, because as I said, Microsoft still doesn't have a good distribution platform for their, if they want in on the games industry, other than just selling consoles, I think they have to lay the foundation, and they don't really have a good channel, a good unified channel. And even if this happens in 10 years, they still have to start working on it right now because they can't establish a brand or a good infrastructure in a year and expect it to work. So I think they're preparing for something that might happen several years into the future, maybe 10 years into the future, but they're laying the groundwork right now.
Yeah,
Right, of course.
I mean, yeah, and they really need to figure that out. I mean, in terms of the Windows Store, like if it's going to be a hassle or a bad experience just to buy a game and play a game, like why would you choose that? Why wouldn't you go find some other way to play the game if it's going to be a hassle, or just don't play the game at all?
Yeah.
Because it's just going to be a really, really terrible experience.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Major Nelson, the person who does most of he's basically the spokesperson of Xbox, was actually quoted saying, people should know that Xbox is a big priority and a huge commitment. He said, please do not let the fact that we are also launching a game on the same day as Windows 10 change your perspective on the importance of console business or our commitment to innovating on consoles, end quote. And he basically said that to sort of say, we're not abandoning the consoles and stuff, but I sort of feel that is just, it's sort of like the PR marketing fluff of it. I think they are actually dipping their feet in the water. I think they are actually trying to see how this sticks. Like, what do you think, Thomas?
Yeah, well, that depends on what you define as a console, right? Because if you're, there was this tiny OnLive. When OnLive was popular, they had to go for like a year. But they still had like a little box. Is that called a console? Because I think if Microsoft were to release something like that in 7, 8, 10 years, I still think you could call that a console. So I think he's speaking the truth when he says that they're not abandoning the console. But I think their definition of a console is not exactly what we might expect. So
Right.
I think it's totally truthful about that. But
yeah, I think sort of Michael Pachter's sort of dream or vision, like his big prediction over the next sort of 10 years, what's going to happen is a lot of consoles are going to start being built into TVs. So the box is just going to disappear eventually, and it's just going to get smaller and smaller into a chip, which is just going to be in our smart TVs. Like if that does come true, would you still consider that a console?
Yeah, I think we will eventually. I mean, if you asked us now, we would say, "Oh, absolutely not." But in 10 years, I think we might actually consider that a console. And in terms of and I just think they need a good distribution platform for their future hardware. And I think they also want to compete with, because people say, "Oh, you can't compete with Steam," because Steam is the main distribution platform for PC gaming. But if you look at other platforms like Origin, they've like I think Battlefield 3 was perhaps the most high-profile title that did not launch on Steam, and people were like, "Oh, this is going to fail." I mean, they're shooting themselves in the foot. But if you look at Origin right now, they're actually doing pretty well. It seems like EA made the right decision in not publishing their product on Steam, and I don't think it hurt them that much. I think people just wanted to play Battlefield, so they went and signed on to Origin, and I think the same thing will happen to the Windows Store if they release it exclusively on Windows Store. I think when I don't know if Quantum Break will be the title that will get people to try Windows Store out, but I think Gears of War 4, if that comes to PC, I think that's a big title that will get a lot of people to give Windows the Windows Store a go. So I think I think they have the opportunity to become a major player here.
I mean, and this could be the beginning of a push,
Yeah.
Just testing the waters. But like, I mean, how do you guys feel about people, Xbox One owners, complaining about this not necessarily being an Xbox One exclusive? I personally, I don't own an Xbox One. Why would I? I live in Japan.
Right.
But it just seems like it's kind of all under the same umbrella still. Like, why do you care that they're offering it on the Windows Store?
Yeah, I kind of feel a bit weird about this. I mean, even I think Phil Spencer actually took to Twitter, and I don't know if you saw this sort of little argument that he was having, but he was really shocked when people were complaining. And there was even one game that said, quote, "I cancelled my Quantum Break pre-order as I said I would. You weren't upfront about the Quantum Break going to PC," end quote. And Phil Spencer actually replied to him saying, "You cancelled a pre-order for a game you want because someone else gets to play it on Windows?"
Yeah.
And it was a question to him. And I think it's totally valid. I think Phil Spencer is totally correct when he said this. You know, it's like, why is everyone up in arms about this? It's really confusing to me. Like, what do you think, Thomas?
I just want to say piss off to those people. That's my response. I can understand if you're a teenager and, well, I think when you're a teenager and you don't necessarily have a job, you're kind of, I mean, you might have like a small job just on the weekends or whatever, but generally you have less money to spend. And if you buy an Xbox, you want to feel like that purchase has been justified because,
Right.
And when you have less exclusives on your console, you feel like that purchase, oh, why did I purchase an Xbox or why did I purchase a PS4? So I think,
Right.
I think that's basically all there is to it. I don't think that too many adults, hopefully, are upset about this because, oh no, someone else got to enjoy this product as well. Oh my god, it's not like it takes away your enjoyment out of the product. So I don't see why you should be upset about it. So I think it's basically just trolls or teenagers who feel less validated when it comes to their Xbox purchase.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, these people that think that they bought an Xbox and they need to legitimize that purchase. It's like, who cares if the game goes to the Windows Store? You still have a ton of games to play. What does it matter as long as the company is successful and is able to make enough money to be able to, bring in developers and produce new games to give to the system for you to play? Why do you care where the game goes? As long as the company is being successful, that means that you bought a console that is going to be sustainable in terms of new games are going to be coming in and you're going to be able to play them. Like, who cares? It is legitimized because you're having a good time and the company is successful, so you're able to play more games through that console. I don't really get this. It's like the 16-bit wars just like won't end. It keeps continuing. Like, I don't care. Like, there's so much fandom in terms of consoles. Like, people hate Sony or they hate Nintendo or they hate Microsoft. Like, I'm sure people know what a monopoly is. No one wants that. It's the more people that are in the game, the better. Otherwise,
definitely.
We wouldn't have had the Xbox One roll back on what they said during the famous E3 from 2 years ago and all that stuff. I don't want to bring the whole story back to that, but some of this hatred or this vitriol coming from this decision just seems a bit ridiculous to me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the main thing that we have to remember, I mean, out of 100% of people, I think only about 10% of them actually complain and they actually act upon it, There's still 90% of the people out there that are still quite happy. They'll still be like, oh, cool, I got a free PC version of the game. Because it does come free if you pre-order it before April 4th. You actually get the cross-buy for free. Yeah. Like, it's not even like they're taking it away. The game's coming out on the exact same day. And, it's just, I think a lot of people are just complaining just to have a voice sort of thing. I think people have gotten a bit too used to complaining at Microsoft and having things change because of that incident that happened 2 years ago at E3. I mean, that did need to change. Don't get me wrong. I am a strong believer in that. There was a lot of stuff that was happening at that E3 that was like, that needs to probably change. And it did. And they listened. But I don't think this is one of them cases.
No. Sure. And I also just want to clarify, in case there are any teenagers listening, I know you're not all like that. A lot of teenagers are super cool and super mature. So they're not.
No, they're not. I hate all teenagers. They're horrible.
No, but they're not all like that. Just to clarify. But I think actually Shane on Game Fiends brought up an interesting point because he was making the point that they're basically butchering the Xbox One by releasing all these titles on multiple platforms because they're taking away the exclusivity of the Xbox. But
Yeah.
I don't really think that Microsoft cares. If they are butchering it, I don't think they care, because, as I said, I think they're just moving it into a unified platform eventually. I think this is a long-term strategy, so I think they'll still have. I don't think they care as much about the Xbox console. They care more about the Xbox brand, and the Xbox brand can exist on so many different devices. So if the Xbox console dies, I don't think they cares.
It's
care.
all under the same umbrella, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Quantum Break is an exclusive to Microsoft. Now, I think a lot of people need to get that into their heads. It's not an Xbox exclusive; it's a Microsoft exclusive.
Yeah.
It's like when people out there all the time saying, "Oh, this is a Sony exclusive."
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, what's the difference between a Sony exclusive and a Microsoft exclusive? There isn't. The fact that Microsoft have got two platforms, that shouldn't be a thing. You know, I mean, you look at Sony do cross-buy all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of people don't realize, because the PS4 and the PlayStation Vita, there are so many games that are on cross-buy,
right,
and no one ever complains about that stuff. I just don't see how that is any different in this case.
I don't understand why it's galvanizing like Microsoft fans that they're offering it on. They're not throwing it out to just the PC in general, like Steam and this and that. It's like, no, it's going to be available on the Windows Store. That's a Microsoft platform. Why do you care? Your purchase of an Xbox One is still legitimate. Like, you can play the game. You can play the game, and people on the PS4 cannot play the game. If that's what you want, that still holds true.
I think there's something to say about that, actually, though. I mean, Quantum Break isn't coming out on Steam at all. It hasn't been announced for that. It's only Windows 10 store.
Yeah, and I think they'll stick to that, because at first I think, they'll receive a bunch of backlash and they'll eventually release it on Steam. But now that I think about it, I think they'll actually stick to their guns, because EA stuck to their guns when it came to Battlefield and Dragon Age, and it paid off for them. And I think Microsoft will do the same, and I think it will pay off for them as well.
Well, they need to see what this will do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, a lot of people are just testing the waters at the minute, and a lot of people don't see that. But I think the only mistake that Microsoft have really made is the title that they used. I think Quantum Break is probably a bad title to use, because the specs are so high on the PC or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that won't buy this on PC. They'll just buy it on Xbox because it's much cheaper.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah. It's interesting.
I think that pretty much, unless you guys have anything to add, I think that pretty much sums up the topic. I think we should move on and not drag it out too much, and just kind of move on. What do you guys say?
No, I mean, definitely, an interesting thing, the game being the first game to support cross-buy over Xbox One and PC. Definitely a worthy topic. But yeah, I mean, it's something, testing the waters, and we'll see what happens in the future. Interesting move.
No, definitely. I think the only other thing that it could be is that if because last E3 they announced their streaming service from Xbox to PC, so you can play Xbox One games on your PC through a streaming service, like through your home network sort of thing. Like, maybe they're flipping it around so you can play a high fidelity PC game on your Xbox One. Like, that's the only other thing that it could be, but we don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I'll definitely get the game either way, and I love Remedy. I love all their games, and I'll play this one as well.
So Quantum Break is out on April 15th, I think, this year. So yeah, we'll have to see how the sort of industry takes it at that point. Okay, so the next topic is actually by Evan, and you actually want to talk about the story that's going to be in Final Fantasy 15 and the sort of things that you don't want to see in the game, right?
So first, I think we just kind of need to gauge our interest in the series and see what we've actually played before we move into the main topic. So let's start out with our guest, Thomas.
I've never been a big JRPG guy. I'm a big RPG guy, but never a big JRPG. I've played Final Fantasy. I've played 4, 6, and 13.
Okay.
Never finished them. So yeah, that's pretty much my Final Fantasy experience.
Okay. And how about you, Vin?
To be honest, I own every single Final Fantasy,
Oh, wow.
like in the main series. So I've literally got from Final Fantasy 1 till 13. So I'm sorry, 1 to 14. I've even got 14 now, and I've played them all. I haven't finished them all, but I've got quite an extensive bit of experience in the series. But how about you, man? As this is your topic, like, what are your thoughts behind Final Fantasy 15? Like, what are some of like the things that you don't want to see in the story?
What I don't want to see in Final Fantasy 15 is bad storytelling. I don't know. From what I've seen, I'm thinking the storytelling is going to be very terrible. But just don't be Final Fantasy 13. Like just with a movie or a game or whatever the media may be. In terms of a story, it's like the main rule is, as much as you can, show, don't tell. Don't look at the camera and explain to the audience what's going on. That's bad storytelling. Use the people and the environment to explain something to the audience without directly telling them. And something that Final Fantasy 13 did horribly is you didn't know what anything was. It's like the Fal'Cie, the Lucy, we're going here, we're doing this. It's like, what are you talking about? What's a Lucy? What's a Fal'Cie? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, I remember I was playing through Final Fantasy 13 and just like listening to, what is the difference between a Fal'Cie and a Lucy? Like, I couldn't answer myself that answer. Like, even after I've played the game for like 20 hours, I was still asking myself that question. I was like, what is going on?
And you're immediately confused. The game makes you feel so stupid.
Yeah.
And the only information you actually have, and a lot of that stuff, it becomes very clear through data logs in the menu.
Right. I think that they're sort of like, it's like they're trying to add all this crap, like trying to confuse you to make it seem like it's got more depth, which they're two very different things, you know? They're not like just adding all this crap on does not mean that the story's any deeper or the history's any richer. It just means you're making it more confusing.
Right. Like if it's necessary for the audience to understand the story, put it in the game.
Right.
Don't put it in a data log for them to. It's the worst type of storytelling. All right, yeah. So basically, if someone in Final Fantasy 15 is going to die, like make it mean something. Like the party is small enough to where if the writing is good, they should be able to build up. We should be able to build up a certain rapport with the boys, the traveling boys. That, yeah. I don't know what to call them really.
No, that's the good thing. Either the boy band or the boys.
Yeah. That if something does happen, like make it mean something, like make it meaningful. And Thomas, I'm sorry, like I kind of brought you into a conversation that you're not very familiar with, but
no, that's okay. It's interesting to listen.
But we're gonna bring it back around at the end.
No, I mean, my fiance always tells me, like, she gets really sick of, like, you know, typical sort of Japanese story arcs. And that's definitely one of them.
Oh, the tropes are ridiculous. And
there's so many of them as well. It's just like, oh, let's die for the good of our friends and stuff. It's like, oh my God, again, really? Like, this has happened like 90 times in different anime and manga like this year. It's like, why are you doing this again? But they love doing it, like, and it's over and over again. And this stuff is really popular. From what we've seen and from what, like, the footage that has been reported on, it's just like, it definitely... It's got a really palpable feel that it is another Japanese game. And I know it sounds stupid, but like, you know what it's like, Evan. I mean, you live in Japan, you see the tropes. And just seeing like these, like the cool guy, like band boys, and there's all the, like they tick all the boxes as well. It's like, you know, the moody main character, they got the hyperactive like best friend, they've got the even moodier but stronger character who like protects him and stuff. It's like, oh man, really again? Like we're going through this again?
It's gross.
It's awful.
They literally tick boxes.
Yeah, and it's horrible. Like
it's terrible.
I mean, the same thing for Final Fantasy 7 and 8, where the main character was just moody all the time. And it's just like, oh man, would you just cheer up, dude? Come on. Like you're on an adventure, there's beautiful women around you, you're having a good time. Let's go, buddy. It's just
but he's a deep person. He's got a
that's
brooding soul.
I think that's my main worry when it comes to Final Fantasy 15 more than anything else, because the game was originally announced back in May 2006 and it was revealed at E3 like that same year, and it's changed director. It's had like 2 playable demos. It's It's all this crazy stuff. And for a 10-year development cycle, they're going to be overthinking the story a bit too much, I think. For me personally, when I look at Final Fantasy 15, it scares the shit out of me. It's like, really? You've been working on this game for 10 years and you've ticked every single trope box that there is to come out of Japan.
It's crazy. They have such an opportunity because, we're talking about the job system and all this stuff, and it's like the party in Final Fantasy 15 is so small. Right. And I think we're led to believe that these people have known each other for a very long time. Yeah. Obviously, one of them is a prince, and they're trying to protect him for whatever reason. But it's like they have such an opportunity to. It's like Band of Brothers or something like that. Like, these guys have seen shit. They've been through a lot. They've been through thick and thin. They have such an opportunity to create a really strong relationship and tell a very good story with this very small group. And I just hope they don't fall into all of these anime and manga tropes that are just so pervasive throughout, Japanese like storytelling media and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I definitely agree.
I think that maybe is a reflection of the Japanese games industry. From what I understand, Japanese game development studios they're not the best places to have an opinion about stuff. You're kind of expected to just maybe if an employee said, maybe this thing doesn't work, maybe that's not a popular thing to say. They're just expected to follow.
They probably wouldn't say it in the first place.
Yeah, I agree.
If they disagree.
No, that's the thing. I mean, I work in a Japanese game studio. I know exactly what it's like. Like, if you have an opinion and you want to tell like the games designer, or like if you want to tell your boss, like, hey, this is probably shit, you probably need to take this out. There's a lot of sort of beating around the bush and, sort of hinting systems. And there's a lot of, like, Japanese systems, like
it's so ridiculous. It wastes so much time.
And for games development, it's awful. It's like the worst system in the world. I mean, in a Western studio, like, if you walk up to your boss, be like, yo, this is broken, like, this isn't fun. They'd be like, all right, cool, like, we'll look at it. Done. That's the conversation, like, less than 10 seconds, right? Out the window. For a Japanese game, you probably have to go through 55 hint systems. You have to have a committee. You have to have a meeting.
That's so bad.
Just to even bring it up. And that's before they say, no, we're not changing this.
And then a bunch of, like, the inhale of the...
Yeah. That's difficult. I'm sorry.
Just tell me what I want to... Like, why are we wasting so much? We're wasting so much time. Please.
Yeah. It's like, Mendoxide there. And it's like, no, we're not wasting time. This needs to be fixed. Like, if you don't fix this, you will make a bad game. And that's honestly why there's been so many bad Japanese games. Like, since, like, mid-PS2 till now. Like, there are so many games because the fidelity of graphics and games design and all these other things that they're just not catching up with. That's why they're so successful in the mobile market, is simply because it's still, like, they're in that PS1... early PS2 world, and they're quite happy being in that because that's their bread and butter,
Yeah, and then I hope one thing I don't want is just because of the proliferation of mobile games in Japan, I don't want a lot of those things seeping their way into a console game.
I think that's too late, man. I think it's going to happen. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
it's not to be too negative on it, but you've got to. I mean, after 10 years of a game being quote unquote in development hell, you've got to expect the worst at this point. Like, no game comes out of a 10-year cycle healthy.
No, I mean,
hopefully I'm wrong.
I've seen promise in just terms of some stuff of the game, but
yeah. I mean, it looks fantastic. That's the thing. It looks amazing.
Absolutely beautiful. You are right about that.
Tetsuya Nomura was working on it until 2014, and that guy, like, did a fantastic job on Kingdom Hearts. And to know that all them systems are sort of integrated into that game, I'll definitely play it. I'll definitely pick it up. I think it's going to be an amazing game, but story-wise is what worries me more than anything else.
Yeah. But I just hope the gameplay is gameplay is king, right?
Right. I think the gameplay is going to be fine. I'm not worried about
that. I'll give it that. It really looks fun. It's like, it's not active time battle. It's a bit more dynamic. It's kind of pushing towards a mixture of, like, active time battle, like Final Fantasy 12, a bit of Western RPG, that type of thing. I'm all for that. That looks cool. It looks new. It looks fresh. That looks fine to
looking
me.
at like Tetsuya Nomura's sort of back catalog. I mean, he worked on Kingdom Hearts. He worked on The World Ends with You. You know, games like that, like really cool gameplay. So I'm not worried about that respect. So,
Right.
But that's just me. I don't know.
But in the end, there's a lot wrong with the Final Fantasy series. I just hope that they pick out the best parts and move forward a bit. Just throw out everything that was done in Final Fantasy 13 and be done with it. The combat was crap. It was garbage. It was like
I think we should just throw out Final Fantasy 13 altogether.
Yeah,
like that story was bad. The gameplay was bad. Everything. Oh, it was bad. The fact that Tetsuya Nomura got the brief for Lightning and said, "Hey, make a female Cloud." That's a bad brief. You know, that's not. Oh, anyway, yeah. Sorry, like I could bitch about Final Fantasy 13 all day.
It just the idea of that being the start of it.
Yeah,
is a problem in and of itself.
Oh man, I can't even imagine. Like honestly, I think
Lightning.
if Final Fantasy 15 bombs as much as 13 did, like the first 13 game, God, it sounds ridiculous just saying that. If it bombs as much as that game did, then I don't see much of a future for Final Fantasy. I just think it's going to be riddled with remakes and remasters. I think that's it, to be honest.
Yeah, just they need a. It seems like they're moving towards a bit more of a Western RPG aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like in terms of gameplay, I guess it just like some skill trees for each individual job would be cool. Better storytelling. That's really, really vague, but you know, come on, just look at some of the garbage stuff that they've done. Fix that. I don't know. It looks promising, but I just like that one trailer where like the father is like holding his son and it just keeps going on and on and on. It's like, please feel feelings. It's like it's just as bad as anything, like everything we've talked about up until now, like the bad storytelling. That's bad storytelling.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Show us this king holding his prince son for long enough and we'll feel it. It's like, no, you don't get it. It's bad. This is bad. It's just bad. So yeah, that worries me a bit. And then another thing I don't want is the amnesiac protagonist.
Right, like Final Fantasy 10 sort of thing. Like, I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing. All that sort of stuff.
Right. Or, like, remember Final Fantasy 8? The entire party eventually realizes that they knew each other and they were raised in the same orphanage. And actually, the guy with the cowboy hat, what was his name? Irving, the sharpshooter?
Irving, yeah.
He was the one, he actually remembered it the entire time, but he never brought it up at any point in the series, in the game until later. It's so lazy. It's so lazy.
It's bad storytelling. It's like this character's been traveling with them the whole time, but he just forgot to mention the fact that they probably all knew each other at some point.
Especially when they were about to assassinate the woman that brought them up in the orphanage.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You're not going to. It's bad. It's bad storytelling. I'm sorry, Thomas. You're going to say something.
But when you mention all these things that you don't want in Final Fantasy 15, it seems like 90% of the Final Fantasy is gone.
It's true. It's very true.
That very well might be true. And actually, yeah, coming from from you, someone who hasn't really played much of the series, like I've played through every single core game. Like, coming from someone like me, you might think, I don't think this guy really likes the series. Why the hell did he spend so much time playing it? And you might even be right. I only listed less than half of the series that I find essential. But, a lot of this bad storytelling stuff just comes from, manga and anime tropes that are just very prevalent in Japan. And you can even see that in a lot of Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that, which we might talk about later. But I think some viewers probably saw Dragon Ball and stuff, and it's just like the exposition dumps are just so egregious. That was my brother who you might have known 2 weeks ago. He was recovered from the satellite crash and he was in the hospital and he come back and he's a power 1000. It's like it's the worst type of storytelling, but it's really, really prevalent in a lot of manga and in anime. And I think that type of like storytelling bubble is it is part of Japan, and I think it just continues because that's just how they tell stories. A lot of things like video games or manga and anime or whatever, like it's just bad. It's bad storytelling, and someone needs to tell someone like like show don't tell. Okay, so let's cut this short. Show don't tell. Yeah. Don't look at the damn camera and explain the story. Be clever about it.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to hear exposition dumps. It's boring and it's bad storytelling. That's all I ask. Basically, when just look at what we first talked about, the leveling up system. It's like what I don't want is a JRPG leveling up system. What I do want is a more modern Western RPG leveling up system, and that might be like what And I think Vin, you said the same thing. It's like this is what we've migrated towards over the years when JRPGs became kind of less and less prominent.
Yeah.
In the mainstream, where it's like I think some of Western studios, developers, they figured out a better way to do some of this stuff.
Yeah, I think, Final Fantasy has been through so many different transitions from Final Fantasy 1 to 3, from, like, as it went through the generations pretty much, like from 3 to 6, from 7 to 9, 10 till what we're up to now, it's all, they continuously change and people like different things, but it's about, like, if they're going to make them changes, they should definitely take what was good in the past as well and bring that forward. But it just seems like they sort of start from fresh a lot of the time, and they're just like, hey, here's a new game. And there's a lot of fans that sort of feel alienated, especially in the story, Cool. So Final Fantasy 15 is it's had an announcement of an announcement, which is a bit weird. But the announcement event, which is called Uncovered, will be airing on March 30th. I think the event's actually in LA, and it's actually just 2 months before its 10th anniversary of the announcement. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see when the game's actually finally getting a release, and we look forward to playing it. As much as we might talk about it negatively, we are actually really excited to play the game. So fingers crossed it hasn't ticked off too many trope boxes and that it's actually a really great game.
And the winner is Fallout 4.
So now we're going to move on to our small three, topic number 3, which is actually mine. And today I wanted to sort of go over the whole DICE Awards. So the DICE Awards, which was the 19th annual DICE Awards, happened last night. I think it was last night. I don't know. Japan times are screwing me up. But I think it stands for, I don't actually know what it stands for. Developers in Computer Entertainment. I think that's what it stands for.
You might have dodged a bullet there.
Maybe. I'm not too sure. I don't actually know. Don't quote me on that. Okay. That's going to be our first correction, right?
Bring it up. Like, I don't even know what it means.
Yeah, it's all good. But yeah, like the DICE Awards are actually like the developers' sort of Oscars. I mean, they had the Game Awards, which was hosted by Jeff Keighley back in December. And that's the sort of journalistic sort of side of awards. And then they have DICE, which is the developer side. So it's among their peers. And it's a lot more like accolades versus like success, So that's sort of the rundown of what it was, and it was pretty surprising actually. There was a lot of games which I didn't think would be showing up that were showing up quite a lot. Like Ori and the Blind Forest actually won quite a few awards, and obviously the big sort of note from this was the Game of the Year, which was actually Fallout 4. Mm. And I mean, I loved Fallout 4. It was my game of the year. I know you haven't played it, right, Evan?
I have not. I apologize to everyone. I do not own a PS4 or a Xbox
cool,
One, so
that's cool.
Nope.
But yeah, I have like very sort of mixed opinions on the game of the year. I mean, Fallout 4 was my personal game of the year, but I have other sort of things floating around that. But I wanted to sort of take from you guys. Like, what did you think about it, Thomas? Like, what did you think about the game of the year going to Fallout 4?
Again, it's also my personal game of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the one I've played most. If I could only pick one game, I'd pick that one. But I
Yeah.
kind of feel like it should have gone to The Witcher 3 because
Right.
it was
Interesting.
just such a well crafted game. Just of course graphically impressive, but also in terms of like depth of story, there's just so much to do. It felt like a real world, and they did it with fewer people than on a lower budget and fewer people than Fallout 4. And again, Fallout 4 was pretty buggy when it first launched. Yeah, so I think that the Witcher guys, they CD Projekt Red, they shipped a better product and a better game objectively than Fallout 4, than Bethesda did. So I think they're actually more deserving of that award. But on a personal level, Fallout 4 was my game of the year. But I think
Yeah,
The
like
Witcher 3 should have won.
I remember speaking. I spoke to a friend recently, and he was saying to me that the Game Awards had The Witcher 3 won Game of the Year at the Game Awards back in December with Jeff Keighley, and he sort of said that because Jeff Keighley was sort of involved with DICE Awards as well, they sort of feel like they're spreading the same block of butter over the same piece of bread, as people say. They're trying to give out an award to everyone and make sure everyone wins. And do you get that feeling yourself, or do you feel like this was a legitimate pick by the DICE Awards? Thomas, sorry.
No, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes there, but I think Fallout 4 is by no means a bad game. So
right,
it's a great game. It's a fun game. So I don't think it's an outrage or anything like that it won. But I just don't think it was the best pick, and I don't think Fallout 4 won because it's because they just wanted to throw them a bone and just make them happy. I do think that whoever like the jury, I think they that was the real opinion. So I don't think they just give out prizes just to throw people a bone.
No,
That's
I agree.
for sure.
I mean, how do you guys feel about bugs in games in terms of like, let's just say you have a game that you really, really love, like everything about it. It's fun. It's engaging. You're going to play straight through it. You're going to play it for hundreds of hours, but there are so many frustrating elements about it. Like, how do you balance that?
This is my main problem when it comes to Fallout 4 winning the Game of the Year at the DICE Awards. I mean, as Thomas said, like me too, like Fallout 4 was my Game of the Year, my personal Game of the Year, and I spent many hundreds of hours in that game, and I loved it. But
didn't you say you spent like 300 hours on it?
300 hours I spent it. Yeah, I took a week off work for it, and I did it. I did it properly.
Right, okay, so you're right in there.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are the guy to ask in terms of.
I am definitely the guy to ask when it comes to Fallout.
Yeah, if it's a good game or not. All right, yeah, let us have it then.
But like when it comes to Bethesda and their products, I mean, I love Skyrim, I love Oblivion, I love Fallout 3. But when it comes to this generation and this sort of level that we're at now, with Fallout 4 being as extensive and as great as a world as it was still very, very buggy. And it comes down to the fact that they're probably using the same engine, which they are. They're using the same engines, which they were using on Morrowind. Like we're going back a decade.
From 2001 or 2002.
Wait. Does it go that far back?
It does. It's the Gamebryo engine. They've modified it and added features.
There's no new iteration of the creation kit. It's just been updated a slight bit. There's no creation kit 2.0. And it's very evident, and it's at that point. And the reason why I didn't want them to win Game of the Year, even though it's my personal Game of the Year, I didn't want them to win it so it'd sort of give them a kick up the arse. I wanted them to sit there and think, man, what happened? And just to make them realize, like, you've got a really bad engine right now. You really need to update it for the current generation. But now that they've won Game of the Year, I sort of worry that they're going to look at their accolades sort of thing. They sold 12 million units.
Right. Yeah. What they did is enough. Like everyone knows Bethesda makes really insanely buggy games, whether that be Skyrim or Fallout 3 or Fallout 4, but even so, like, we can still squeak by and like get these accolades.
That's what I'm worried about.
I think that says a lot about Bethesda, that they're able to release buggy messes, but that
Yeah,
people still enjoy their game so much. Because if you give me a game like, I don't know, Street Fighter or Gran Turismo or I don't know, Uncharted, if those games had the same amount of bugs as the Bethesda games, I'd be like, okay, I'm out of here, screw this game. But
right.
because it is a Bethesda game, you kind of, because you still
Yeah,
enjoy
you
the
give them a
game
free
so
pass,
much.
right?
Yeah, so I think that says something about their talent, that even though, they make such good games that bugs can't hold them back.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I have a bit of a reputation on Sifted for defending sort of Assassin's Creed and that franchise.
Oh god, yeah.
And there's a couple of people on the site that are sort of like, oh god, this guy's back. But
Really?
I've got this reputation.
Right.
You know who you are, listeners out there. But like when you look at something like Assassin's Creed Unity, which was a hot mess, like it was a broken game, it shouldn't have been released in the state that it was.
Oh.
But it was interesting to see like sort of Kotaku report on Assassin's Creed Unity and sort of send it to the gallows and say, this is the worst game ever made. Ubisoft should be embarrassed. I mean, look at this glitch with the face missing and stuff like this. But then when Fallout 4 came out, the exact same glitch happened in Fallout 4. There was people with missing faces, but it was never reported on. They weren't sent to the gallows. They got that free pass. And it's interesting to me. I wouldn't want either one of them to be sent to the gallows, but it's interesting, like between the studios and different companies, that they're sort of given these free passes,
Yeah, I think again, as I said, because obviously Ubisoft, the studio that developed Unity, they did not manage to create a compelling enough experience that people were able to see past the bugs, but Bethesda were able to create that experience. So people accepted the bugs because apart from that, the game was amazing. But if you look at Unity, the overall experience wasn't amazing enough to make people see past the bugs. So I think actually that speaks volumes of Bethesda's capacity to make good stuff.
But I also heard that the infamous like faceless bug in Unity was like, it didn't really happen a lot. It was very,
it's PC gamers only.
It was minimal.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of Bethesda Fallout 4 stuff is just like everywhere. People just not being able to access missions, like having to like restart their consoles just to get back into it. Still, missions aren't starting. They're not be able to pick up stuff, and then all of a sudden 2 days later they are like that. Like, for me, I've been in that situation with games where it doesn't matter how much I love the game. If that game is giving me that level of frustration, I'm done. I'm going to check out.
Yeah, you hit that breaking point, right?
Yeah, it's like, and it's so sad because it's technical aspects that just like that, like bugs that haven't worked. Where the game, like aside from the things that like the technical bugs, and I like the game, I like everything about it, but you kind of have to take that into account when you're reviewing a game, or at some point you just, if that stuff is too much, you just got to like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore unless you fix your game.
No, I agree. I mean, that's my main point. Like when it comes to Fallout 4, like when it comes to them sort of, I mean, they probably most definitely are already working on the Elder Scrolls 6, they're working on the next, big fantasy RPG. And it worries me that they're going to be like, well, we won Game of the Year with Fallout 4, so this engine is good enough. And so we're going to see the same bugs, we're going to see the same, the same things happen. And it's worrying to me. That's the only thing. That's the reason why I sort of feel like Bethesda shouldn't have won Game of the Year, for that one reason only, which is really selfish, as a developer. I mean, I know how much time.
I kind of agree with you. Like, if you have, and like, this is coming from someone who hasn't even played the game, but is well versed in the areas where the game went wrong. Yeah, like it's not just one or two or three or four or five people
there's
complaining.
Hundreds of bugs, man.
It's just everywhere. It's on YouTube, it's on major gaming sites, like all of this stuff. And just kind of absorb it. It's like, this game might be amazing. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
New Vegas. I absolutely love that game. It was so good. It's just amazing. Everything about it I love. The Hoover Dam, the missions, everything, blah blah blah. But when you're just not able to continue playing the game because you can't, the X button, the prompt won't pop up on screen, and you waste 20 minutes trying to get that to work. You have to take that into account. And yeah, Vin, like you said, like you might not necessarily give that game the game of the year because of those types of things.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of deserving. I think you have a good point. It would be good if they hadn't won, because it would kind of be like someone kicking them in the ass and getting them to shape up. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's an outrageous pick. It's still a fantastic game despite all the bugs. So I think, I don't know. It's an okay pick.
Yeah, I'm torn. Like, I'm really torn. Like, I mean, it was my personal game of the year, but to give them that accolade sort of gives them the free pass to use them bugs in the next game, which I worry about, But for all we know, like in a month time, when the DLC is ready to come out, maybe all these bugs will be gone. Maybe they've totally patched it, for all we know. So I can't hold judgments of them too much. But if, like, in 6 months' time, if the game isn't to a playable standard, then I don't know, it's going to be hard for me to justify that award.
Right. But the fact that both of you guys are able to recognize all these bugs, but say that it either deserves or might deserve Game of the Year, I guess it goes to show, the other positive qualities of the game. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if it was bug-free, it would be the best game.
Right.
By far. I think it probably would have beat The Witcher 3 for me.
Yeah.
It would have.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, it's just the small things that hold us back, but there's just too many small things. That's what really did it for me.
Yeah. It can add up, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, also at the DICE Awards, there was also a Lifetime Achievement Award given to the late Iwata-san from Nintendo, which was really nice. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Reggie Fils-Aimé came out on stage and he sort of accepted the award.
I did not see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm not saying that Mr. Iwata doesn't deserve it because he's done a lot for the industry, but I kind of feel like he got it because he passed away. That's a very political prize this year. I think.
It's tough. It's really tough. I mean,
I think they just gave it to him because he passed away. Again, not because he doesn't deserve it, but he had. Had he still been alive, I think we would have seen another
That's the interesting thing, right?
Recipient of this prize this year. He might have gotten it in a few years or next year, or whatever.
No, I think you're right. It's just the fact that he did pass away that, okay, then they were actually able to look at his life and say, well, from A to B, like if we're measuring what he did in terms of the gaming world, we're able to do this. Whereas if he was still alive, then they didn't have to look at it in that, in that light.
Yeah.
But he's a master programmer. He did.
Yeah, he worked on Kirby, he worked on Pokemon. Like, he's worked on pretty much, well, as Reggie Fils-Aimé actually said in the speech, he actually mentioned that Iwata-san actually worked on a game on every single platform that Nintendo has ever released.
Yeah. Which is
crazy. To think about.
That is really crazy, yeah.
Yeah, hat off to the guy, So, yeah, I think it was well-deserved. But timing-wise, it felt like a political sort of choice, as Thomas sort of said. But
right. You get,
well-deserved either way, is my point. Yeah. Best mobile game of the year, which went to Fallout Shelter.
Evan, you seem to have an opinion on this, so please go ahead.
Okay, so this is coming from someone who, watched the Bethesda's E3 press conference, and as soon as the game was available, I downloaded it and I played it.
Right.
And I worked my way up to. Now, I don't know where the mobile game is at this time, but at that time last year, I think around October, I guess you could say, I worked my way up to 100 Vault Dwellers, which was the max.
Yeah.
And I had everything. I didn't have all like the special characters or the special guns that were found in the Wasteland. I was sending tons of people out to get stuff for me.
Yeah.
And I had him. I gave him everything. I gave him stim packs and Radaway and all that stuff to go out into the wasteland. And I'd send him out for like, some of my characters are so powerful, I'd send them out for like 2 days before I brought them back. And I had the Nuka-Cola station and everything. It's like, when you hit those 100 people,
yeah, the game ends pretty much.
You were exactly right. The game does end. And just at that point, I was like, my, like, everything is running at, I would say at the time, like 93, 94% efficiency.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to do anything. And it took, like, I'm just from 0 to when everything ran that well, I would say it took me like 2.5 months maybe.
Yeah.
But at that point, it was like, there's nothing else to do in this game.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought about it for a bit, and then eventually, after a week, I deleted it. Like, I finished the game.
No, it's a valid point. I mean, I played through it. I got to about 75 dwellers, and I actually got, like, as irony and comedy would go, I actually got a game-breaking bug. And
really?
I couldn't open the app. Like, it would just crash on load.
Man.
And like, even when it updated, the same bug was occurring. So I ended up deleting it. So good old Bethesda. But
yeah. As we speak of them again.
Like, from what I played, I enjoyed it. But yeah, I think it's weird. I mean, there's so many games out there which people talk about. I mean, like, there's so many studios working on mobile games. I just can't bring myself to believe that was the best one.
No, especially like it was free, right?
Yeah, it was free.
But I don't know. Thomas, do you play mobile games at all?
I'm not a big handheld guy anymore. I used to have Game Boy Color, and I've also had a 3DS and a DS and a PSP and PS Vita, but I've just bought them, played a game, sold them. So I'm not a big, but I did have a Game Boy Color and I played it a lot. So mobile games, not my thing. I tried Fallout Shelter. Played it for a couple of hours, never went back.
That's fair enough, man. It's fair enough. I think everyone's a different flavor of gamer, so
yeah.
Right. I just have a problem with the whole, like, awarding a game that's solely based on making money off of microtransactions and the people that set, and they get paid to do work, totally fine, but they get paid to figure out how much money we can get out of people in terms of microtransactions. Like, in good conscience, I couldn't award a game an award for that kind of systematic,
Yeah,
it's tough. I mean, I've been in them meetings, where people are talking about a mobile game, say, hey, how can we get more money out of our customers, and they're not nice places to be. I mean, they're the worst sort of meetings that you can ever be in, because no developer in that meeting is having fun,
Exactly,
That's when it turns from passion to just like, oh, God, really, we have to do this.
But if I ask you the question, which game would you rather see as the winner then? What's the competition?
Lara Croft Go. 100%.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's a good nomination.
Okay. That's a good nomination.
I finished.
There you go. You nailed it. Done.
Yeah, exactly. You put me in my place.
Hitman Go was absolutely amazing. And the funny thing is, I've never played an actual console Hitman game.
Oh yeah.
That game was I finished it. It was absolutely amazing. Lara Croft Go, I thought they would just completely steal the formula and just half-ass it. They did not. They reinvented puzzles in ways I didn't think that they would have. It's a completely different game than Hitman Go. It's only Hitman Go in terms of the last part of the name, Go, and it's an amazing game, and I think that it deserved that award.
Kojima was obviously there with Del Toro.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of buzz around that. A lot of people were wondering if they were going to announce a game, which they didn't.
No.
Which was really interesting to me. Like, I was expecting.
Like, why are they there if they're not
right?
Gonna...
It was really interesting. It's like, hey, Del Toro and Kojima showed up, and it was like, something's going to happen. Like, what's going to happen?
And yet they don't talk about PT at the DICE Awards.
It's like the reason why Kojima was obviously there was to get inducted into the DICE Hall of Fame.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Which was a nice little nod after like all the crap that he's been through. But again, probably it's the same thing with Iwata-san. Like, that's probably just a reaction to what happened last year rather than if this was the right time or not. But yeah, it was well deserving. It was a really nice little speech which was given, and Del Toro gave him a very big sort of long introduction about sort of saying what he's done for the industry and like how much he should be appreciated. So yeah, it was a really nice award for him to get. Like, what do you guys think about it?
I think that definitely Kojima deserved to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Definitely. Was it the right time? God, I don't know. Just like Iwata, he probably would have gotten that honor sooner or later. So, just get it over with. I don't really have an opinion on him and Del Toro per se. It's I'm not really interested in. I'm interested in what they'll do, but yeah, I don't really have any expectations. You never know with Kojima.
That's a great mindset to go into.
Yeah, that is definitely the quote to take away from this. Like, you never know with Kojima. I think that's the real sort of takeaway from this. But yeah, I mean, whatever they work on, I'm sure, I wish Kojima and the best of luck. I hope that, this does work out for him, because he did have such a shitty time last year, Now we're moving on to the next section, which is the content callouts. And I don't know if you actually picked one, Thomas, but have you got a content callout?
I just got to hand it to the Pactor Factor. Always an enjoyable show, each new episode. You get mostly interesting questions, and he usually has an interesting answer. I think during the last, or was it the previous episode before that? I don't know. He got a question: if you could slap one company CEO in the face, who would it be?
It's interesting to hear.
I don't know. Did he call out? He never called out anyone by name, but did he say that he wanted to slap Jason Rubin?
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, he said THQ, and I was like, yeah, that's Jason Rubin in that position. Yeah, so that's probably who he'd want to slap, even though he didn't say his name. But I think, yeah, so you get a lot of interesting questions and a lot of interesting
nice diverse answers.
Yeah,
no, that's cool. How about you, Evan? What's your content call out?
Okay, so my sifted content call out of the week would be actually, and I'm not trying to switch money between hands or rub shoulders or anything like that, but I would say the host, Vin Hills, created a template for a top 10 of all time gaming list that I think a lot of sifters should access this hub by going to Vin Hills' blog page, Top 10s and Honorable Mentions Hub. And from there, you can kind of create your own top 10 games of all time list.
Yeah, I've actually gone through a lot of top 10s right now, and they're very interesting to read. Just interesting.
Yeah. I finally did it yesterday. So even if it takes you a really long time to get your list together and write, just do it. Compile your list and send it out there, because I think a lot of sifters would be happy to comment and talk about your list and their lists and why these games mean something to them, and maybe why they don't think that belongs on the list. Just I think it would be cool to just create kind of a web of content around these top 10 lists. So I highly recommend that people go to that hub and give that a try.
Yeah. Cool. And what about the Englishman here? What's your content call out?
My content call out is actually from one of our sifted users, which is Metal Loud on Twitter. I think his name is WasHD123 or WashD123. I'm not too sure, but he's actually got a competition going on at the minute, which he's got in one of his blogs. So go and check him out. He's actually got a competition, and he's giving away sifted subscriptions, which is really nice. And I think this was sort of like in the wake of everything that happened after Game Trailers shut down. And he wanted to sort of raise awareness and raise some money to see if we can, start bringing over these people from Game Trailers, because, there's a lot of them guys that are out of work at the minute, which, would fit right into Sifted. And I think the more subscriptions that we have and the more promotion that we have, then, the more chance that we've got them guys to come over. It'd be really cool to see some of them, So yeah, he's got a competition going on at the minute. So just go onto his blog, or you can go onto his where is it? If you go onto his YouTube page as well, his YouTube page is Metal Loud, or you can find him on Twitter at Metal Loud. And all you've got to do, if you're a non-Sifted user and you want a subscription, all you've got to do is do hashtag GT Memories or Sifted Metal with your fondest GT memory. And all you've got to do is tell them, hey, this is my favorite memory from GT. And yeah, you've got a chance to either win one premium subscription or there is 2 basic subscriptions also floating around. So yeah, I think it's a really cool little competition that is going on, and I think everyone should share it and sort of let their friends know about the site as well, because yeah, we need all the users that we can get at the minute.
Oh, definitely. And I think it's Sifted is Metal.
Sifted is Metal, sorry.
Okay.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, Sifted is Metal hashtag. So yeah, just find that and sort of go with the competition, share it. Even if you are a Sifted subscriber already, just tell your friends about it. Maybe they want to join. So yeah, it always helps the site and it helps the community grow and everyone comes together with it.
Yeah, you might get just one person to be interested in it, and that would help tons.
Yeah.
So cheers.
Yeah, just if one person sees it, then that's that's all that really matters, because it's a hard sell, Sifted, as a subscription site. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, what site you on?" You say, "Oh, I'm on Sifted." Like, "Oh, that's cool. I'll check it out." And then you mention the word.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they either don't check it out, or you mention the word subscription. Like, "Oh, you have to pay for it." It's like, dude, it's half a video game a year. Get over it. It's not crazy, but that is a wall. So like, we need to tell as many people as we can. So yeah, I think this competition really helps. So yeah. Thanks for doing the competition, dude. We really appreciate it. All right, cool. I think that brings us to the end of the actual show, guys.
Yeah.
So
thank you for an interesting conversation.
No problem, man. Do you want to give your Twitter call out and your sign off?
My Twitter is at Thomas Thorsson, same as my username. I'm not really on there that much, but if you want to follow me, go ahead. And hopefully I'll see you on Sifted.
There you will. Okay, how about you, Evan? What is your Twitter handle and what is your sign off?
All right, my Twitter handle is Kyoto Evan at the stand user. I know it's a shit name. I'm figuring it out. Ultimate Brent, you might have to help me out on this. But at the stand user, same as Sifted and Twitter. And yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and looking forward to everyone else coming on to talk.
Yeah, definitely. All right, my Twitter handle is at VinHillArt. You can find some of my finger paintings on there from time to time. But
well, being a bit modest there, man.
Well, all right, maybe.
Seriously, check out his blog. You'll find some amazing stuff there.
Yeah, at finger paintings, Vinhill, mush, paint.com.
But yeah, other than that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everyone for the support. Like, just sort of, when I got this idea at the start, I didn't think many people would latch onto it, and I wasn't expecting such a positive response. People saying, "Yeah, this is a really cool idea. Let's get on this." It'd be really cool to have people from the community on the show every week. So yeah, let us know your feedback, and we'll try and make the show the best that it can be. Not just for us guys, but for you guys as well. We want you to enjoy this, so bring as much feedback as you want. So yeah, for everyone here, I would like to say thank you, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Okay, yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Cheers.